just turning on the recording now. Okay, so hold on a second.
So what I'd done is I'd gone into some of my favorite non-fiction books that I really enjoyed reading and got a lot out of, to see how had they structured each chapter. What was it that and I paid attention and picked out those things, those elements that I really appreciated from those books. And then I just listed a long list in a way. And what I thought was that maybe there needs to be out of that structure, there might need to be 4 or 5 which are fixed in every chapter, but then depending on what the topic is, then there might be a need for something else.
Did you write a different, is this the same document or did you create a new one?
No, this is the same one.
Okay, because sometimes people go and create a new one and we still have the working master, but you're working in a second one.
Okay. No.
Okay, so
if you keep going down, it's under the chapters. You'll find it's just a list of structural. Here we go. If you go back up.
Go back up?
Yeah, I think. Here we go. Writing structure ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, for each chapter, to bring it to life by articulating a personal or client story that relates to the challenge or the topic, and then really going to describing what the challenge is, so that they can identify better that, okay, they she knows what she's talking about. They know what they're talking about this challenge. And then there's for those of us in the coaching world, there's always excuses, right? When you're coaching. So there's being able to articulate also what their excuses might be that come up.
Okay.
Like, but what if this, but what if that? And this doesn't apply to me, or it's, sometimes people justify that they don't need to do anything.
I call them excuses and alibis.
It's alibis, okay.
Yeah.
So that, and then with an answer to them,
okay,
or with a rebuke, and then going into the tool, solution, practices, or principles with step-by-steps and do's and don'ts where necessary. And then, if it's relevant, then there might be some what ifs. How can I apply the solution if this flavor of the challenge or that flavor of the challenge?
Okay.
And then we talked about last time about having space for journaling questions, and then there might be a need for top 10 tips, friendly warnings. But I really like also the idea of having the big ideas as a summary at the end of every chapter for those who really just want to go through the book quickly.
And I don't know if we covered this last time, but we can also design kind of like a background. If it's journal entries from the author, we sometimes grayscale it behind, and we tell the reader at the beginning of the book, every time you see this style of writing, italicize this, it represents the author's thoughts or the author's journal entry or something like that. So it stands out from the rest of the text. Okay, and that's in the design portion, but we can make each chapter kind of have this visual change so that they start to recognize what each thing is. So maybe tips, looks a certain way, and friendly warnings, or maybe there's icons.
Yeah, exactly.
A series of icons that we put right up front in the book and explain what each icon is, so you don't have to explain it through the chapters. They get used to what the icons mean.
Yeah. So I guess those were the things I really appreciated out of the books I'd reviewed and read in the past.
Okay.
And I just wanted to get your feedback and anyone else's feedback really in terms of when you've been thinking about structuring your books that are around personal development. Are these the right kind of things to include? Is there anything that you've enjoyed that you think could be part of this that I'm missing? Yeah, I'm really open to feedback or suggestions.
Okay, well, let's all just, everyone can unmute. If anyone has any feedback, please go ahead. Okay, so section 1, chapters, section 2, chapters, section 3, career.
Yeah, that needs to be fleshed out, but that would.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can we go to the bit where you were listing that you liked it, the things you wanted to include that you were just talking about?
Here?
Yeah, there. I really like all those things because, and so I just want to say, I think you're going in the right direction. I wouldn't try and, I think it's great that you've gone to see what you like in other books. And I think that's brilliant. Like the journaling questions, the tips, I don't think you need to keep bringing in much more. Because I think this is brilliant, and I love books where I write. I write in the margins of the books that don't even have space.
Yeah, yes, we all do that.
Things that have inspired me. So I think leaving space for that and doing, because that's what's so important. So I love that you found the things that you enjoy. I wouldn't get over caught up in analyzing the way you need to do it now, because that'll all come. My book has taken on so many different things that the book I started writing is now going to be my second book, and the book that I'm releasing is now my new first book.
Been there.
So it's completely, so I wouldn't get caught up in the structure, and I think this is brilliant, and I think just start going with it.
Yeah, just something to start with. I work better with a structure, and like you say, it'll evolve, and I won't add much more to this list. I just wanted to use the call today really just to get some feedback. Does this sound and feel about right? And shall I
love it.
Okay.
All those things.
I really like it.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of having icons as well, so that you've got little graphics at the top, or you've got different colour coding or something, so people can instantly see, oh, look, we've got a tip, or we've got a big idea. I think that's a really nice way to break down and segment things into bite-sized pieces, so people, if they want, they can just refer straight back. Once they've read the book, they can just refer straight back to those sections. I think that's lovely.
Yeah, that would work really, really well. I like the so I like the segmenting that you have here, because I like the. I tend to be a fan of a lot of the time with nonfiction books. People get caught up in having as many chapters as they possibly can, but a lot of the time those chapters really do need to be broken down into sections, because when you've got 27 chapters in a book, it feels like there's just too much to learn. We need to bite. It's like creating online courses. You need to do it in bite-sized pieces, because people don't have the attention span.
Yeah.
They just look at all these chapters and they think there's so much to learn, but because you've segmented it into self, it's like, oh, okay, let's bite that piece off. And that's the most important one, of course, to have right up front, right, is to examine. And you have core challenges and solutions, which is good. So it's not just about here's all the challenges. It's like, here's the challenge, here's a way to work your way through to the solution. And you're asking people to do an examination, really, of their situation, their life, their circumstance, and you're making them more aware of something they probably know is happening or not happening, but they just don't see it. So you're providing this big vista, this big landscape. Like managing fear and guilt. We don't talk about that.
Well, probably be managing shame, fear, and guilt.
So,
and I wanted to ask you, ladies, there's one idea I'd had, because there is so much there, and I wanted this to be something that they could keep going back to, not something that you're going to read once and then put on your shelf, is having at the very start the Wheel of Life assessment for them, and then based on where they've measured themselves in the Wheel of Life, then I could give them pointers. Well, if you scored yourself low in this part and this part of your life, then go to this section or go to these chapters.
Okay, so where would you put the Wheel of Life assessment?
Well, I was thinking more at the very beginning, because then it's something that's like, okay, so where am I today? Where are my challenges now? Where am I feeling unfulfilled?
Yeah.
Or where's the biggest pain point in my life? And then using that, then I would need to design something with the publishing company to help them see, right, well, if you score low here, then this is the sections or the chapters that might be relevant for you. So just as a quick navigation to what would be most useful for me, rather than having to go through each section and figure that out, the Wheel of Life would do it for them.
Yep, that's great.
And with the Wheel of Life, what I think is really great, and I've seen Denise, what's her name, in Australia does it, and a whole bunch of other authors, places where they can go and download material. So you can have the Wheel of Life, you can have it in a downloadable format with your logo on, with everything. And so you're also capturing emails, because not everybody, and then it means you've got something going forward, someone you can promote to, someone you can do workshops to. And I know that there's somebody who did an audio book, and I can't remember who it was, but they did an audio book. Tosh Silver or something. Anyway, she did an audiobook and it included all her meditations, and because she'd done it within there, she couldn't release those meditations separately. So it's really great. And I've noticed that what Denise has done is you go and get all her meditations from her website. You go and she's like, so for this extra material, it's over here. Yeah. But actually it's a brilliant way of capturing emails.
Yeah, it's good.
Everything. So this is the whole thing about authorship. So I'm going to be launching, my YouTube channel is going to be converting to the channel called The Art of Authorship TV. Okay. So I'm going to be coaching and training on there. And part of what's so important about, and you guys know this already, is branding yourself and promoting yourself. So becoming the author brand. We got to think all of that stuff out before any book goes out. So that means making sure you have your web domain, making sure that you're thinking ahead to your author brand, your website, having all the social media channels to market yourself as an author. Because like Iona said, all of the email, the opt-ins, right, the value you deliver, all the offers that you're going to have, Brendan Burchard calls OVO, those are all important to think of now. So you don't have the answers this red hot minute because you don't have your final manuscript, but this book is going to be out there as a way to amplify your own influence in the market. So what the downloads do is they allow you to capture, the opt-ins and things like that. So your wheel, you could do a whole feature course just on the wheel, so you kind of introduce it to your readership in the book, but it could be a very interactive experience that you have available on your website. So these are all really important parts of your book because it's going to be your brand. It's going to be an extension of it or a companion to it or part of it. So all of these things, when you're thinking of chapters and you're thinking of what to include and what you can't live without, think beyond the book. Think about what's marketable here. What could I be teaching? What could I create an online course about? What could I go and do a TED Talk about? How can all this tie in? So yes, it's the book, but there's business beyond the book. So it's important because what happens alternatively is people, they write their books, they publish their books, and they go, oh, I wish I had included that. Now there's going to be things that are going to come up that are going to be, you're going to think of it after you have done your book. But if you look at the book as a business decision, as a scope that involves not just book, but other things, right? It's all intertwined. Think of the bigger picture of it. And you'll be much more prepared to integrate it into your business model. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And just a question on that, because in a way this book has come after the brand and the business has launched. We've been in business 5 years. Yeah. There's another entity, Thriving Parents, which is launching this year, which will really complement, or the book would really complement. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, do I need to have my own domain name with my own name said I'm the author of this book, and then Debbie has her own domain name to say I'm the author of this book, or do we just have it under our website saying the book and everything goes through?
You can certainly do that. You can cross market, so you could have your name, or if you're only planning to use the book underneath your business. So what is the name of your website?
Right now the B2B is Thriving Talent. Yeah. But this book is for Thriving Parents. So we would see this being part of Thriving Parents. And then it would be driving traffic and leads, like you said, with these email conversions to Thriving Parents, because we've got the online courses already created and we're selling them. Yeah. We want to do a few other things now, but this book in a way is a little bit after the product.
So the brand is Thriving. Sorry, it's Thriving.
So this other brand is Thriving Parents.
Okay, but the website isn't.
The website is Thriving Parents.
The website is. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you.
So there's two websites. There's Thriving Talent, which is the B2B arm.
Okay.
which serves this audience in the corporate world.
Yeah.
And then the B2C arm is Thriving Parents, which is serving the public, mothers and fathers.
So how do you integrate them right now?
We reference them on each website to say, if you're interested in what we're doing as an individual, then go to Thriving Parents. And if Thriving Parents say, if you think your HR or company would be interested in offering this to employees, then please visit Thriving Talent.
So in your case, I would leave it because you have a brand that's recognizable already under Thriving Parents, or right?
Yeah.
So I would leave it because no, you don't need now to mix up your two different names.
Okay.
However, if you did want to market yours, I mean, you must have each of you a bio on your website.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you could do, what we often do is we go and we buy our domainname.com and we don't put anything on it. We just point it. So if somebody is looking up Natalie Wilkins because they know Natalie Wilkins wrote a book, but they have no idea what the name of the book is. They just know who you are.
Right. Okay.
So then they would type in your website. So you could tell people you go to nataliewilkins.com. I'll go check if it's available right now.
I've got it.
Well, you've got it. Okay. So then perfect. You just point it.
Yeah. Probably need to get
point
Debbie.
it to this one. That's it.
Okay. So you just redirect it to Thriving Parents. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. And then you can have all your email integration through. Are you with Kajabi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're Kajabi fan. So yeah, you get all of that stuff. You get all your email integration, all your automations and everything. You go through do you blog there as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're all set up already.
Yeah. We've been using it 5 years now. So yeah, it's really good.
I know. It's really good. Okay. So really good for you. That's
you.
good. You're on totally on the right track.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. And so here, I mean, you can put thrivingparents.com here. I mean, this is all stuff that we can take care of as we move along.
Okay.
Have you reached out to any of these people on like Twitter, for example?
These are like my wish list.
It's okay. You got to contact them. Danielle Laporte is pretty, she's pretty, well, so is Brene Brown.
Yeah.
So, are you on Twitter?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So I would be following them, follow the three of them, which you probably already do. Go and get all of their tweets.
Okay.
Share their tweets. And when you are writing about Thriving Parents or writing about anything that you're doing, go and tag them.
Okay.
Just go and tag them. I'm telling you, you have absolutely nothing to lose. Everything to gain by doing that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. And hashtag Thriving Parents. Start hashtagging your book titles, your brand titles. If you have any articles, any of your blog posts, tag them.
Okay.
All it takes is one time where somebody, it may not even be them, somebody in their team, whatever, opens and goes, this is so relevant. That's all it takes.
And that's how, because rather than reaching out cold turkey, you'll have built a relationship, because also people can go and see, even like we can see it in Facebook land, see the connection, because then sometimes people invite me to their page and then I go, hang on, who are they? And then I'm like, oh my God, you sent me a friend request like 6 months ago, but we've never had a conversation.
Yeah.
Nothing. So it's not even like they've gone and commented on any of my posts. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not joining and following. So it's building that up now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Twitter is really good. I've been using Twitter for a long time. I think 2009 or 2010. And I've made some phenomenal contacts on Twitter just by answering, retweeting with comments, just becoming associated and present. And what's better than to follow and to encourage and to like stuff that they post?
Yeah.
Right. True. So just go get acquainted with them and start stalking them.
Yeah.
Right.
I stalked Michael Beckwith.
There you go.
And I'm meeting him at the end of October, but I'm stalking him now. I repost his stuff. I comment on the same things. I'm staying with his best friend when I go to visit. You just start stalking now.
Well, I have a client who's releasing her book in the next month, and I posted it on Facebook at one point because Oprah was in town.
Yeah.
And she ended up, her desire was to get the book into Oprah's hands, and she ended up getting a VIP invitation, but she was out of town. Her daughter went. Her daughter had an audience with Oprah and gave her the copy of the book.
Oh, wow. That's
So
cool.
you don't have to know how. That's not how the law of the universe works. You don't have to know the how. You just have to decide what you want. So now you decided that one of these three people are writing the foreword for your book. Now you're just going to decide which one.
Yeah. I've just thought of someone else, but I can't remember her name.
Okay. Well, you have the doc there. You can open it up and add it whenever you want. Go start stalking these people.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Yeah. Okay. Other Natalie.
Hello.
Hello. Let me go grab yours.
So I haven't updated it since I sent it to you last week.
Yeah, okay. So let's go grab it.
I've been percolating. I love that expression.
I saw that. It's so good. Okay, so tell us how you've been percolating.
So I've been thinking about the format, because one of the things on the last call was about, we talked about layout, and I've been trying to think about how I want to integrate the creative exercises part. And now, having listened to Natalie about the idea of having sort of summaries of big ideas and tips and things, I think that if I may pinch and customize that, I think that's a really lovely idea for an art book as well, because they can be like quick tips or, you know, cheats or things like this. Or did you know you can actually use this with this? It's not traditional, but it works brilliantly. Little things like that, just to make it more bite-sized and more interesting, I think.
Yeah.
I'm still putting off the messy middle.
Okay.
I've had the last week and a half, I've had so much time in my studio, and I've actually felt like a full-time artist. And I've been so in my flow, I've actually not wanted to go into that. I know you said about doing it as an observer, going back to the journals, but I felt so in flow with the art at the moment that I almost don't want to step out of that. And
you shouldn't. And you shouldn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Because part of why you're here and why you're writing the book is because you didn't allow yourself to be the author that you are. And now you are the author that you are. So you need to be her.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, you know what, I need to just do this. And then as soon as that dips again, then I can go back to the more challenging part of the writing.
Yeah, and you're going to be called to do that too.
Yeah.
You know, when there's something that you're resisting, right? There's a great book called The War of Art.
I have that.
Oh, it's so good. It's all about the resistance, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So that you might want to read that book.
Yeah, I haven't actually got beyond the first chapter yet, so it's on my shelf. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we're called to books, right? Or for me, if I've heard somebody mention it, like one person mentions it, then it shows up in a news feed, then I see it somewhere else. I know there's a reason. I've got to go and I've got to investigate that book because there's something in it that's waiting for me. But all to say, that's one of the biggest challenges as artists, all of us are artists, we're creators, is resisting what we know we really are meant to do. And what ends up happening is you get a calling one day where it's no longer something you're resisting. It's not something you have to push against. You have to go upstream for it. That messy middle will wake you up one day and you'll go, I'm going to write the messy middle now.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it being something that you're putting off or something you feel like you're not. It's going to come when it's good and ready.
When it's ready. Yeah. I'm totally trusting that, because that's exactly what's happening with the art at the moment.
Yeah.
It's good and ready, and it's coming and it's flowing, and I know that the rest of the book content will happen when it's meant to. And in the meantime, I'm just writing the good stuff, because it's almost like I'm doing journal entries of the good things that are happening. So
it's all really good, and it's all part of your book writing. Like, you are writing it in real time. Writing a book doesn't have to be sitting down in front of a computer on certain days at certain times. You're writing your book as you're living, and you're observing your life, and things are happening that you didn't expect or did expect, and you're like right now you're in the flow, you're in the state of allowing. So, you know, creativity thrives in that state. So all sorts of other things are going to come into your head, and you're going to get ideas, and you're going to get called to go in here, write on a piece of paper, write somewhere else. You're constantly creating your book.
Mm-hmm. And
So
I have had
like you're not, you know, don't feel like you're putting something off or you're neglecting it. You're actually in the flow of creation, period.
That's it, yes. And I think as long as I don't beat myself up about the fact, because I had set the goal that I'd like to be trying to do around, you know, 500 plus words every week. And then one week I sat down, I did 800, and then another week I did 600. But then I haven't written now since, over a week ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so don't mess up your state with that, because there's no reason to.
No.
There's no reason to. It's not a like we judge ourselves, right? But this is why I'm not somebody who will ever recommend one of these programs where you write an entire book in a weekend. They're out there, right? They get you in a room,
worse.
right? Get together and let's write your whole book. And I guess if you're there and everything is ripe and ready to go, but I don't think the creative process works like that. It's much more organic. It's much more holistic, right? And that's the writing practice that I encourage people to do, because what's going to come out of you is going to be far greater than giving yourself this deadline of 2 days or 3 days or what have you. You know, the book, if you're meant to write a book way faster, you're going to know, you're going to feel that urging, and you're going to go and you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And if you have other things that are kind of weaving their way through your life, allow those things to weave through your life. One day you may wake up and say, okay, enough. I want to do this and I want to get it done in the next week. And no one's going to even have to force you. You're just going to feel compelled and you'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that will happen. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it definitely will. Oh, unmute. Mute. Yeah, go.
Caroline wrote her book in 3 months, both of them. She decided, and that's the thing, and she got those downloads. And what I wanted to say in backing up what Caroline's saying is, with writing, you're in the feminine with all your creativity. If you start going to what you should do and I need to be doing this, that gets into the masculine, gets you out of your creative artist flow. So I'm just backing up what Caroline's saying.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and you know what? You always know by how you feel, and you already made a decision based on how you felt. You felt like you were in the flow. You felt like the art, and it was all coming. So you're not really leaving any creative place. You're remaining in it. You're just kind of switching the medium for the moment, but you're still creating.
And I have to say that what's interesting to me is that this book is always in my mind.
Of course.
And it's, although I'm not actively doing stuff with it every day, it's always there. And I think, oh, that'd be a good thing to put in the book, or it'll be interesting to write about this when I finished it. So, and it's really nice, because I normally by now on a project of this length, I will have flaked out and given up and gone home. So the fact I'm still here at week, whatever we are, and it's actually getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Well, there's something to be said for holding yourself accountable and for being in an accountability group. That's why they're powerful.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're showing up, and you don't have to have, unless, you know, we're in a type of group where it's a really short-term thing and we've got an exact goal by the end of like an 8-week time frame, and then everyone has to be getting to that finish line. This was set up really more to take you through this process, make sure you stay in the process, so that by the end of the 3 months, you have something tangible that you can't run from.
Yeah, we're sucked in by that point.
Right. There's no turning back now, right? That's why we do ISBN and all that at the beginning, because I always want to make you feel like you have a stake in this now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's brilliant, because having the ISBN number and a book title, even though it's a working title, it's suddenly a product. It's real. It's,
exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go a step further. I've done it myself, to create the cover for the next book before the next book is written. So I have the cover that looks at me and says, write me already.
Yeah, I should do a cover for this book, and I can print it out and stick it on my wall.
Very powerful.
I think one thing that has been slightly bothering me is I worry about my eloquence in writing, and I don't want to make it too simplistic.
Yeah.
But equally, I don't use a lot of technical jargon. I'm not a poncy talker. I think I'm a little bit worried about how it's going to read and how it's going to flow. And now I'm sure this is where an editor will come in.
Absolutely. That's where editors, but don't forget, everybody has their own distinct style.
Yeah, and I think I want to make it more conversational.
That's perfectly legitimate, and people would recognize you in it.
Mm.
You know, like a ghostwriter, for example, who's hired to write a book for someone, their biggest challenge is to speak in their voice, because that author's voice needs to be reflected. I mean, if somebody picked up something, anything that I write, people know it's me. I just have a specific style, I guess, of writing, a style of, you know, how I, you know, the cadence of the way I write. And so yours is yours, and don't think that it needs to be this way or that way. It has to be comfortable and sound and feel like you. Now, the editing is the cleanup. Okay, because there is going to be things like the point of view, the tenses. Sometimes things you think go in one place and the editor goes, I don't really think so. I think we'll move this over here. Often there's repetition. Okay, I mean, people do that. It's just human nature. And when you're in it, when you're writing it, you don't see it. Right? So editors will go, where I've heard this before. We don't need this. We can take this out. Okay. So it's a real cleanup process. So necessary for anybody. I mean, I don't even publish my blog posts without having them edited and proofread. Okay. Because it goes to the quality of you. So if you were to post something, or this is why self-publishing has a bad name. Self-publishing is John Q. Public that goes, right, I'm going to write a book. I don't need editors. I don't need professionals. I'm just going to self-publish this thing, and I'm going to throw it out there into the universe. And while I really love the fact that their creative juices are, you know, telling them to do that, they're not giving it any respect. So when somebody reads it and it's schlocky, okay, the person writing it, you can entirely wipe out your credibility in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Just by a manuscript that's not properly edited. That's why when I saw even the children's book that didn't have punctuation here and there, I said, stop the presses. No, it's got to have that kind of treatment, because the moment you see an error, you as the author get judged. You just do.
Yeah, I know whenever I spot typo in a book, I'm like, oh, they should fire their proofreader.
But isn't that true?
Yeah, it's so true.
Right? So the answer really is be aware of your style while you're writing, and like just be aware of it. And you don't have to clean up as you go, but you know, if there's words that you're noticing you're using more and more often, just, you know, be aware of it. Start using your thesaurus and finding, you know, different words to use or different ways to phrase things. But your style, as long as your style is consistent, you're okay. As long as you're not writing every chapter in a different point of view or a different voice. But if you're writing your style as your style, and I think Natalie was referring to that too, because you have two different authors in this piece of writing. So it's not terrible for people to be able to recognize the two different writers, okay? If you're writing about something that is specifically yours, Natalie, and specifically your partner's, and those voices are meant to be a little different. So it really depends on how you want to present your work. If you want to be like the common front and it all sounds like one, then that's something that you'll definitely work with on an editor, with an editor. Okay, to make sure of that. But as a singular voice, Natalie, I just keep writing it, and then we can evaluate all of that when you're done.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have your own style and your own voice.
Well, this is something is where I'm at with painting at the moment, is that I'm on the brink of finding my signature style. I want people to be able to look at my work when it comes up in their newsfeed and instantly recognize it as mine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there yet because I'm still very much experimenting. And I guess because of that, I am very aware that I haven't found my voice, I haven't found my identity with the painting just yet. And I'm a bit worried about whether that's coming through in my writing. But I think probably the writing is more consistent because it's new.
And it's new, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like art and painting, you become recognizable for a certain style of art. The writing you haven't been doing you've been writing, but as far as writing a book, it's a big project, right? From beginning to end. So, you've done a lot, you've all done a lot since May, okay? Because we went from nothing to something. And now you're just kind of finding your way along that pathway, right? And there's going to be like little signposts. So you're going to stop, you're going to rest, you're going to look, you're going to evaluate, then you're going to keep moving forward. So there's still a lot to go before a book gets published, but this is all part of that pathway to publishing I talk about, because there's so many signposts along the way. And these are some of the things you're learning. Okay, what is my style? How do I like writing, and what feels the most comfortable for me?
And I guess the thing is not to run before we can walk, is just at the moment keep creating the content, keep writing it, and then start worrying about the layouts and stuff.
Yeah, that all comes after. There's plenty of time to really kind of like take a deep dive into the manuscript and roll up your sleeves, right? That's coming. You've got to write it first.
Yeah, get on with it. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Does anyone have any questions? Iona, do you have any? Okay, there we go.
I've got one.
Yes.
And I don't know why I'm hesitating asking this question. So I was wondering, have you ever known any authors who, maybe this is the masculine energy coming through, in order to be efficient, speaks dictaphones what they want to write?
Oh, yeah.
Get it transcribed, then you go in there and you just edit it.
Absolutely.
You can do that. That's allowed.
You can go to rev.com. You can take your.
Okay, so I could, because I felt like I'd be cheating if I did that.
No,
or I guess it has something the creative process.
Not at all. I have a guy who's writing a book. He cured himself of diabetes. He was 350-pound guy who almost died. Diabetic shock, and he decided to not take meds and to change his entire lifestyle. Anyway, he's writing a book and he hates writing.
Okay.
He hates writing, but he loves talking. He loves to talk. So he comes into the office here, right? For 2 hours. I just press record and I say, okay, talk to me about your book. Tell me about your book. What do you want to talk about today? Well, I want to talk about, the insulin resistance, blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, talk. Tell me. And then he talks and he gets off on a tangent. He gets totally lost. This guy absolutely has to do a TED Talk. He's a brilliant storyteller and very compelling to listen to. So, but he absolutely hates writing like this way. So he records everything.
And then it goes to rev.com?
Yeah, well, we just collect the content and then we send it off for transcription.
Yeah. And then who does the editing?
Can also I suggested it to him, but he's not that tech savvy. But you can dictate right to Google.
Yeah. I've done
write it to Google Docs.
Yeah, but it gets it wrong. They don't like my northern accent. I have to talk in an American accent to get it. But rev.com, I know it well. And it's not that I'm shy or don't like writing. I like writing, but sometimes just talking about something gets the creative or gets the content flowing much quicker than just sat there thinking, right, what am I going to write about?
Well, but it's also really valuable when you have two people. And the other example I was going to give you, and I realized it actually applies to you really well. It's also two women. They have a brand here called Wise Women Canada. They had a radio show and very widely known. They wanted to write a book, but they're two very different personalities on the radio program and as business partners. So their writing was similar. They would sit in their room, okay, and the two of them could talk a blue streak. So they decided on what they were going to talk about beforehand. When they got into the room, they pressed record, and then they'd say, okay, well, what do you think about this, Lisa? And then Lisa would go off and talk, and then they'd say, okay, Liz, what do you think about this? And so that's how they started compounding their manuscript.
Ah, that's a really good idea. I could do that with Debbie.
And also
with a glass of wine.
Yes, right?
Sorry.
Yeah, and Rev.com will be going, bleh, bleh.
But also, I don't know about you, but when I type, when I'm telling a story, I sometimes go back to like secondary, high school English, and I start typing in a certain way. When I speak, it's very different. So my next book that's more story orientated, personal stories, I am going to do the voice thing. This one hasn't really been relevant because I did talk to Carolyn about this originally. Yeah. But yeah, because we talk differently than we type.
Yep.
I go like all into like prim and proper mode when I type sometimes.
Yeah, I'm similar to that. I don't like being scripted when I speak. Don't give me like, a whole thing to talk about. Just let me just free talk. Okay. But then, I mean, I even when I was at JTW, I recorded when I was speaking at the beginning with the gratitude book and stuff. I recorded because I never know what I'm going to say until I'm in the energy of the moment. And then when I need just comes to me, I have that faith. I just know I never, ever concern myself with that. But then I said, well, what if I say something that's cool? I may want to use it or use a quote from myself. So don't underestimate the power of you just kind of being there and free talking. And some pretty cool, brilliant things will come out of your mouth.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad I asked the question. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's not, people don't think of it. And I understand where you're coming from thinking you're cheating, but you're not. You're writing it however is best for you.
Okay. All right. I'm liking it.
Some people have like conferences that they're currently giving, right? They're doing the speaking circuit or they're doing the workshop circuit. And they actually do the recording of the whole conference, repurpose it.
Ooh.
Wow.
Create a book. From that, they don't even write a book. They repurpose workshops into books. That's done all the time. So no matter where you get your content from, it doesn't matter. Our job is to organize it in a way that's coherent, in a way that flows well, that people understand it, get something from it, learn from it, but it doesn't matter where your content comes from.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I'm just reading how you're living your life as an artist and planning a move back to your Cornish homeland, Natalie. Yes, make sure when you're there, when you go back to Cornwall, we all want your address.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Next JTW.
Yeah, by the sea.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I'm taking all my workshops on the road. So,
yes, come down.
Right? I had a client this morning from Croatia, and he said, well, you could come here. I said, I think I might.
Yeah.
I'll do it, yeah.
So that's that, especially when you start producing books that go with business, it becomes really, you add another layer to your credibility. You add another layer to your ability to go out and do whatever it is you want to do, speaking or workshops or TED Talks or whatever it is that you want to, go into corporate, start talking to people. You have this book. You can leave a piece of yourself behind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, really valuable and at a lot of different levels. People underestimate the power of it. When you publish a book, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. So just be kind to yourself along the way. That's all I ask. Or I'll smack you. Be kind, damn it. Because authors aren't kind, writers aren't kind to themselves. They tend to be very judgmental and they give themselves a hard time. Don't do that. Put you in the wrong state.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? Everyone good? I'll stop sharing. There we go. Okay, well, thank you for that. I have the, thank you. I've got the all the contact information here for the old rectory house. I'm going to go and do that right now.
Okay.
So
Are we going to have a little chat?
yes.
Yes.
So let's, best way to do it is go to my website.
The other thing, you had wanted to talk to me about something.
Yes, we'll have that. Well, we'll set something up for your book and we'll talk about all that stuff at the same time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So if you want to go to my website at the top for author success, I have times for UK. I start at 5 in the morning here. So there's times for the later clients. So just go and book it there. Then you can pick whatever time works best for you.
Okay, I'll go do that.
Okay, beautiful thing. Okay, ladies.
So are we all catching up again on Sunday? Are we keeping to Sundays?
So I'm away this weekend and I have a wedding the following weekend. So we're picking up the weekend after that, which was, this was to make up for last Sunday. But then I've got 2 weeks where I won't be around at all on the Sunday afternoon. So
it's September 3rd, I think it is.
Yeah, it is. Hang on a second, I will confirm.
And then how many calls are left actually?
Okay. I'm going to have to go look in the recordings.
Yeah.
September
8th.
Okay, September 8th.
Yeah.
So we don't get, so even the first is.
Yeah. So
the next 3 Sundays.
That's right. So the 25th and the 1st, I'm away. Oh, sorry. No, I'm away this weekend. Actually, the 25th, I'm here. It's the 1st that I can't.
Oh.
But I think maybe just to make things, I think what I said was just to make things simpler for everybody, end of summer, kids going back to school, getting ready, weekends. Why don't we just move it to the 8th period? And then we'll just make up that time in September and move it into October. And if you go into the recordings, if you add this one to it, I have numbered them. So I just don't remember where we're at. We're at 9. I'm not sure where we're at, 10. Yeah.
Okay, so the 8th.
Moving.
Okay.
Natalie, I like your vision boards.
Thank you. Yes, I need to update them. Some of them are a bit out of date. I had to put a sticker over that because it's got a Citroen C3, which I really wanted when they first came out. I was like 15 years old.
Oh my god!
The rest of it still stands.
You've updated your wants by now.
Yeah, I've done some more, but yeah, now it all features like massive studios with big windows and houses by the beach. So I've kind of up-leveled.
Very nice.
That's good. That's good. Well, I don't know if you write power scripts or life scripts or things like that. That's my go-to every day. So writing your life the way you picture it to be. So just a paragraph or 2 in a journal that's
as if it's happening
in the present tense. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy and grateful that, right? And I live by the beach, and for me, I've got, the things about my business intertwined with where I'm living and my house in the south and all of these things, my family and their success and all those. It's not like something that will happen for me. It's happening now. And the most important thing to do when you're writing is to feel it. You want to feel it. You want to smell the ocean. Put headphones on and put beach sounds in the background, and then just, have conversations with people in your head and put yourself in scenarios where the places that you're feeling yourself in. It's how goals will, how it happens. But you have to feel your way to it.
I do that too. Yeah, so not just like gratitude, and I tell my clients to do it. It's like, oh, I'm grateful for this. It's like, and then write about the next other things that you want as if it's already happened.
It's got to be in the present tense. That's a Neville Goddard thing.
It has to be feel.
In the workbook I gave you guys at JTW, there's a few pages in there called the as if life script, and there's some pages there that you can fill in, and it kind of describes how you do that and why you want to do that. But that's how you first of all, gratitude of course puts you in the vibrational energy of what you're grateful for right now, and then that elevates you and your vibrational energy, and that puts you in alignment with the things that you want. Right? And then when you're talking about them and you're thinking about them and you're feeling them in the present tense, that's how you move closer together. It's kind of magical.
Because then the universe matches our vibration.
Yeah, you're on the same radio frequency. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Just play with it. It's very playful. right? So you can imagine where you're going to live in Cornwall. Just, you imagine it, you know what it is, and then just keep feeling that constantly. And you don't have to know how. That's where people get tripped up. They go, yeah, but I mean, I'm nowhere near that goal, or I don't know how I'm going to afford that, or that doesn't matter. None of that matters, because the universe will provide it for you. You don't even know how that's going to happen. Somebody could come along and it could happen way sooner than you thought it would, because the period of gestation just got shorter because you've been spending all your time thinking about it. So it's a very, very interesting co-creative process. I use it, I teach it, I live by it, and it has shown up in magical ways. Like,
you've got a man walking around behind you in a blue sweater.
I'll go see what he wants. There's only me here, so I don't know who he's looking for. I don't think he's looking for me.
Love.
I'll go find out.
Might be your
Okay, so I will post this, and if you have any questions and Iona make an appointment, we'll
I'll
take
go
a look at your manuscript as well.
Okay.
Lovely.
Okay,
Thank you,
well, have
ladies.
a good rest of your night.
Well done.
Bye, ladies.
Bye for now.
See you next